Hi everybody, this is Saiji Dan, Sia Miles. Wanted to talk about the feeding elbow adaptations that you need to do if you're seated. There are a few changes that will happen because you've already put your weight down low and you can't drop your weight, which is important in a lot of the feeding elbows. So what you need to do is you need to increase the power of what you're doing with the elbows. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Basically, it's going to involve using your other hand. Okay, so if we work these elbows where Sia Miles begins being a bad guy and grabs me with his right hand on my shoulder, right? He's on the side. Now, to get this standing, we just turn and charge into the guy and slam our elbows into him and all this kind of stuff, right? So it's harder here because we have limited mobility and we're over here, right? And depending on your ability to turn your torso, you've got to worry far more about that punch coming than you have to worry about the grab initially. Because we can't just counter both by charging in. So in this move, if the hand has come up, you're going to do your jamming elbow first. So he's going to throw that punch and you're going to jam, right? Same jamming elbow, jam. But look where my elbow is. If I jam and cover up here and he punches down on me and it hits here, boom, it might slide off and graze me, it might slide down, but he hit. Boom, right? And now my elbow is set. Take that hand out of the way so they can see. This elbow is set for the feed. Feed, right? Hold on and don't let go. No matter what. Feed, right? That feed, that's going to hurt. If I jam that elbow in there, it's going to hurt. And if I pull into it here, I'm starting to take control of it. Remember, I wanted to do this? But what we want to do, because we're seated and we can't drop our weight, is we want to use this other hand that was supposed to feed as well, and we're going to do something with it. Let me show you an adaptation for this move. He throws the punch, and I hit it, and I jam it. And then when I feed, I'm going to feed, right? I'm going to feed slightly over top and pull. And then I'm here. Boom. Okay, I can reach him. And now this is important because I want to pull him here. Not back here. I don't want to try to pull him down here. Okay? I actually want to pull downward with this hand and inward with this hand here. See how much harder it's going to be for him to punch me now? If I pull him here, he can punch me. If I pull him here, he can't. And it's all about this arm clamping down and feeding this elbow in and feeding in. So this elbow is going to trap. Okay? After I block the punch, I'm going to trap and push. Two hands, pull that out of the way so they can see it, and then I'm going to grab him. I'm going to grab him here, I'm going to grab him here, and I'm going to pull downward to my arm. Boom. Because from here, I can start doing really mean things to him, right? And in the self-defense situation, he's the mean guy. So with my hands here, I'm going to start doing all sorts of things to his eyes and his right in his throat, right? And if I can pull him down, right? If I can pull him down here and I can get over top of him, then I have time to do other things too, right? And now I'm grappling and you're in my world. I'm pulling you over my wheelchair, I'm over on this side, I'm doing this stuff to you. His hand can start swinging and trying to hit me, so I've got to be careful about that, but look what I can do here. I can just kind of cover up my body, and I can just kind of do things to his eyes that nature never intended. So that's how we adapt that first one, is we'll block that punch, we'll push in and over, and then grab and pull down here. Don't pull back. Don't pull back here. Pull down here. Clamp. Use your core muscles in lieu of dropping your weight. All right, the second one doesn't change much. If he grabs me with this one, I'm still just going to come up and pull down like this, but I'm going to lean forward as far as I can and do my stuff, right? You saw what I did instinctually is I like to trap because I don't mind grappling, so I actually trapped his hand so he couldn't let go, right? But if I did this, he grabs that and I do it fast and he lets go, that's great. He's going to let go and it's going to get moved around. I'm going to get off of me and then I'm going to turn around and protect myself as best I can. Okay? So that one doesn't require too much of a change. Just lean forward and power through. Okay, feed him that elbow. And then the last one, let me turn and face you. The last one, again, if someone thinks they're going to dominate you from a seated position and grab over top of you like this, okay, one, they're not too smart because they've already broken their own balance, right? And one of the first things we want to do in any self-defense situation is capture balance. Well, he just gave it to us. He's like, here, have my balance, right? Have my balance. Who's in charge of balance? Me. I'm in charge of his balance here. So if I go in and to feed up in here and to do this stuff right away, okay, if I'm strong and let go, if I'm strong and as he grabs me I drive in and come in, I can do it because he's bending over to grab me. He's bending over to grab me. He's not standing straight with good balance point in a deep stance, ready to rock and roll. I'm seated. This fool's bending over to grab me. So bend over, grab me, and I'll come up and I'll grab you too, all right? Right? And it's the same feeding elbow, but it almost doesn't even need to be a feeding elbow. So very rarely does somebody, I hope, dumb enough to do that, because there are so many things to do with it. I can come down this way, right? So the feeding elbow isn't even my first choice for somebody dumb enough to reach for me with 2 hands. But we want to practice it. So as he comes in, we want to punch in and grab, right? And I'm in close, and my head's covered, and then if he starts pulling away, I'm going to have to let him go, or he's going to pull me out of my chair. But if he comes in to reach over me, and I'm leaning back, I'm going to come in here, and I pull down, and I look at that foot coming off the ground, man. Oh, yeah. Now I can do all those things again, right? And it's just punching out with my elbows, punching forward with my forearms and elbows, right? I don't like to call it punching with the forearms because people start doing this. Punch with my forearms. No, you got to punch with your elbows and let the forearms come out. It has to extend from here with the elbows, okay? This is a feeding elbow. This isn't a forearm strike. It's an elbow punch, an elbow feeding, okay? So the changes you got to do with this one is it's the same thing. You have to do it right away as someone reaches for you, but you've got to get in tight and grab as you feed the elbows in, okay? And that's the main differences if you're doing it from a seated position. Now, there are a lot of so-called self-defense techniques for the seated position that simply don't work. This one does.